Full steam ahead. That does seem to be the message from the United States government after this weekend's failed military coup by the Wagner Group on Russia. As early as tomorrow, the Biden administration could announce a new military aid package for Ukraine. The expected price tag, up to $500 million. The package is expected to include 55 vehicles as well as anti-tank weapons and munitions for both high-mobility artillery, rocket systems, and anti-aircraft systems. During today's White House press briefing, National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby said the following.
The United States was not involved and would not get involved in these events, and that we view them as internal Russian matters. We're going to continue to stand with Ukraine.
Kirby also said he doesn't know the current whereabouts of Yevgeny Prigozhin. Does Russian President Putin know where he is? If he does, he's not telling. But Putin did make a statement today saying, quote, "It was precisely this outcome, fratricide, that Russia's enemies wanted, both the neo-Nazis in Kyiv and their Western masters of all sorts of national traitors. They want Russian soldiers to kill each other." Putin went on to call most members of the Wagner Group as, quote, Russian patriots and thanked them for making, quote, the only right decision. Former CIA Director and retired U.S. Army General David Petraeus joins me once again. Nice to see you, General.
Good to see you, Greta. Thanks.
General, if the Wagner mercenaries are out of the war, if they, for the most part, go with, they're sympathetic, for instance, to Prigozhin, what does that do to Putin executing this war?
Well, it obviously reduces one of the more effective elements of the war. Let's keep in mind that in the past winter offensive, the only success, and that's probably in quotes, given the terrible losses that were sustained in achieving it, the only success was achieved by the Wagner Group when it took the embattled city of Bakhmut, basically destroyed it in so doing. But that was the only, again, victory, again, with quotes around that, during this winter offensive. And depending on how large you accept that this force is, the estimates run as high as 25,000, as low as 8 to 10,000. Some of them may sign the contracts with the Ministry of Defense that were the whole catalyst for this whole upheaval. Some will go home. Some may join Prigozhin over in Belarus or wherever it is that he ends up. I don't think Putin wants to lose the services of the Wagner Group because of its value in places like Syria, in the Central African Republic, elsewhere in North and Northwestern Africa. But he clearly has run out of patience with Prigozhin, called him a traitor, and claims that he's going to bring him to justice in some fashion. So again, the drama very much continues. Putin today trying to show that he's in charge, that he's being decisive, all elements that were lacking, frankly, when Prigozhin's forces were making their way north to Moscow before Prigozhin himself lost his nerve, realizing that this incredibly impulsive action that he had taken was probably not going to have a successful outcome.
Is he sufficiently politically wounded that it will have an impact on the military and thus the execution of this war?
Well, only time will tell, and we'll have to see what happens when word of this eventually reaches those who are on the front lines. Does this undermine their morale? Does it cause them to question, as did Prigozhin question the whole reason for this war and the way it has been prosecuted? Again, his criticisms in that last salvo that he launched in the final days before the march on Moscow, this went far beyond criticism of the Minister in Defense and Chief of the General Staff, by the way, both of whom were sort of absent during this whole episode as well, and only reemerged to the minister today. So again, the question is, what does this affect, what will it be on the ranks? Will it undermine their morale, their determination, their spirit? And also, does it give heart to the Ukrainians who have had a tough go so far? They've certainly liberated, say, 50 square miles or so in the offensive, and we have yet to see the main effort actually being decided. And so we see these probing attacks still early days. But again, can this hearten the Ukrainians? Will the U.S. additional support now will take us well above $40 billion of arms and ammunition on the one side, and whatever effect this has on the Russian side, can this help tilt the balance in favor of the Ukrainians?
All right, we only have a minute left, and I don't want to be an alarmist, but I always do worry about weapons of mass destruction, and not just the nuclear arsenal that Putin has, of which I'm sure he has, you know, as I know he has, I mean, the reports are, but I worry about chemical, biological, radiological. Does he have a full arsenal of WMDs, and, you know, should we be talking about those? We talk about conventional weapons and what we're giving them and what Ukraine has, but what about the WMDs?
Well, again, it's the largest nuclear arsenal in the world, and likely, as you say, other weapons of mass destruction as well. It's also a country of 11 time zones with many different ethnic and sectarian groupings held together by this dictatorial, kleptocratic leader, Putin. And if this should come apart, obviously there should be concerns about that, as there were, Greta, when the Soviet Union collapsed.
General David Petraeus, thank you very much, sir.
Always good to be with you, Greta. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.